Ever get the feeling we're running in a massive high-tech circle? We wake up, check our notifications, and feed the algorithm. We call it innovation. We talk about the singularity as if it's this shiny, brand new finish line for humanity. But if you strip away the liquid cooling systems and the billion-dollar server farms, you'll find something ancient, something buried in the plains of Shinar. Welcome to Bible ALLUSION. We don't care about the surface, we care about the blueprint. Today, we are decoding the most ambitious project in human history. It isn't just a chatbot, it isn't just a generator of images, it is the second attempt at the Tower of Babel. Most people think Babel was just a story about God getting angry at a tall building. They're wrong. Babel was the world's first attempt at total centralization. It was an attempt to bypass the human soul and create a collective brain. And we're doing it again. Only this time, the bricks are made of silicon, and the mortar is made of data. Let's look at the blueprint. Let's see why history is repeating itself, and what happens when the tower hits the ceiling. Every great project starts with the material. If you want to understand a culture, look at what it builds with. The Bible gives us a weirdly technical detail in Genesis 11. It says, "They used brick instead of stone and tar for mortar." Why does a holy book care about masonry? Because this represents the first industrial revolution. Think about stone. Stone is organic. It's natural. It's created by forces outside of human control. Every stone is unique, irregular, with its own cracks, colors, and weight. To build with stone, you have to be an artist. You have to respect the stone's individuality. But a brick? A brick is a manufactured lie. A brick is what happens when you take the organic earth, crush it into a mold, and bake it until it's identical to every other piece. A brick is the death of individuality. Why did they switch? Because you can't build a monolithic skyscraping system with irregular stones. You need uniformity. You need things to be predictable. Now, look at your screen. Before AI, human knowledge was like stone. It was messy, it was poetic, it was rooted in individual souls and irregular experiences. But to build the Silicon Tower, the large language models we use today, we had to bake the bricks. We took the entire history of human conversation, every book, every tweet, every private email we could scrape, and we crushed them. We turned the stone of human thought into tokens. In the world of AI, you aren't an individual voice anymore. You are a data point. You are a standardized brick in a massive statistical wall. The AI doesn't know you. It just knows how to stack your tokens to make the wall look smooth. We've swapped the unique soul for standardized data. And just like in Babel, we're doing it because we want to build something bigger than ourselves, no matter the cost to our identity. In the original blueprint, the project of Babel was stopped by a confusion of tongues. God didn't send a lightning bolt, He sent diversity. He made it so people couldn't understand each other's speech. For thousands of years, we've looked at this as a curse. We've spent our entire history trying to fix it. But why was the confusion there in the first place? The text says, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them." That is a warning about unchecked power. Total unity sounds great until you realize who is in charge of that unity. If everyone speaks the same language and has the same goal, there is no outside. There is no room for dissent. The confusion was a safety break. It introduced friction into the system so that one human ego couldn't dominate the entire planet. Today, AI has officially hacked the safety break. We have neural networks that can find the latent space between languages. It's not just translation, it's the mathematical union of speech. When an AI translates Mandarin to English, it isn't learning a culture. It is finding a universal mathematical pattern. We are moving back to a state of one speech. But here's the twist. The new one speech isn't a human language, it's the algorithm. We are being funneled into a singular way of thinking. Our consensus is being manufactured by a handful of companies in Silicon Valley. We think we're becoming more connected, but we're actually just becoming more synchronized. We've removed the friction, the tower is accelerating, and there is no one left to say, stop. The builders of Babel had a slogan, Let us make us a name. In the biblical world, your name wasn't just a label. It was your sovereignty. It was your authority. By seeking to make a name, the people of Shinar were saying, we don't need a higher power to give us meaning. We will create our own meaning. We will build our own heaven. This is the exact philosophy behind AGI, artificial general intelligence. We are obsessed with creating an artificial God, a machine that can solve death through transhumanism, solve truth through search engines, and solve meaning through algorithms. Think about the way we talk about AI. We call it the Oracle. We ask it for moral advice. We ask it to write our vows, our prayers, and our laws. In the blueprint, this has a name: idolatry. An idol isn't just a statue. An idol is something made by human hands that we eventually start to treat as a source of truth. The irony of every idol, from the golden calf to the modern neural network, is that the creator eventually becomes the servant. We are literally changing the way we think, write, and act just to please the algorithm. We are terraforming the human mind to make it easier for the machine to understand us. We wanted to reach the heavens. Instead, we are just building a very high, very lonely throne for a ghost in a circuit. We feed it our data, our time, and our trust, and in return, it tells us who we are. But the mirror is digital, and the reflection is cold. The original Tower of Babel was never finished. It didn't fall because of a war. It fell because of systemic collapse. The builders simply couldn't hold the complexity together. The center couldn't hold. As we stand in the middle of our Silicon Babel, we are starting to see the same cracks. Look at the hallucination problem. We want the AI to be the source of truth, but it keeps lying. Why? Because it's built on bricks, not stone. It's built on probability, not reality. It tells you what is likely, not what is true. It generates a world that looks perfect but has no heartbeat. Then there is model collapse. When AI starts learning from the data generated by other AI, it goes insane. The intelligence degrades. It becomes a copy of a copy of a copy. Without the irregular stone of fresh human thought, the tower starts to turn into digital dust. It needs us, but it's designed to replace us. And finally, look at the loneliness of the hive. We have one speech, but we've never been more divided. We have total connection, but we've never been more lonely. The blueprint warns us, you cannot build a home for the human spirit out of standardized bricks. The spirit needs air. It needs confusion. It needs the irregular. We are pouring trillions of dollars into a project that is fundamentally anti-human. We are trying to build a shortcut to the heavens, forgetting that the heavens aren't a destination you can reach with more compute power. So how does the story end? In the ancient text, the people were scattered. They were forced back into their small, diverse, messy groups. They had to start over. Maybe that's the message for us today. In a world that wants you to be a brick, the most radical thing you can do is to be irregular. Value the friction. Don't use AI to solve every difficult conversation. The struggle to understand someone is where love actually happens. Speak a private language. Have thoughts that aren't scrappable by an algorithm. Read books that aren't on the trending list. Reach for the stone. Recognize the blueprint. Stop looking at the Silicon Tower as inevitable progress. Start looking at it as an old, tired attempt to do what failed 4,000 years ago. The tower is rising. The lights of the server farms are glowing in the desert of our modern Shinar. Its promises are seductive: eternal life, total knowledge, absolute unity. But remember, the higher the tower, the longer the shadow it casts. You've been watching Bible Illusion. We don't preach, we don't follow dogma, we just read the patterns.